ムやる時間決める僕たちは約束守る
約束を守って楽しいゲームがいつもより楽しくなるよ
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sense of Wonder Night 2023. 皆さんこんにちは。Sense of Wonder Night 2023へようこそ。
皆さんこんにちは。1年ぶりの再会でございます。司会を務めさせていただきます。
It's been a year. I'm journalist Shinki Yoshi, and this is Isabel. Nice to meet you. We are from Makarimesse.
そうですね。
It's very lively today. The pandemic subsided, and this is a full-fledged Tokyo Game Show this year. Correct. And Sense of Wonder Night, it's been 16th year. Wow. And last time, it was 2 years after Hanshin won. I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it was an easy example. AI, ChatGPT, there are many things. And I'm looking forward to see how games evolved. Sense of Wonder Night, some are watching it for the first time. Please explain what it is. This is the 16th year, and the concept hasn't been changed. When you look at it or when you hear it, something changes in your own world. We try to find ideas of games which will create sense of wonder. The concept hasn't changed. That's great. This year, select Indies 80. There are so many applications. 793 titles entered into this competition, and 81 were selected among the committee, and 8 were nominated as finalists. And UK, France, Ireland, Italy, and Germany have 1 title, and 3 titles from Japan. Shin-san, there were more entries than ever 2 years ago, to 86 2 years ago, 583. This year, it's 793. So this is getting more popular. We have 793 entries this year. I heard that it was difficult to shortlist it. And from entries from China increased from 246 to 443. Also, the entries from Japan increased from 160 to 209. And we also have entries from South America. This is one of the places to show the indies games, I think. So many entries remained as finalists from Europe. Yes, European entries are strong this year. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to it. And last year, so what happened to the winners last year? The Skim won Grand Prix, and it was a very beautiful graphics, and there was a new element to the gaming, and it draws lots of attention, the Japanese version is going to be released next year. That was announced just recently. Also, the Semi Grand Prix Kitsune, the Journey of Adashino. That was also a new type of graphics. And they're also preparing for the release next year. So this is one of the indies titles that draw lots of attention. So Sense of Wonder Night is triggered a wide variety of activities around indie games. That's great. Okay, then. I'm going to introduce the 8 finalists. We have 2 parts for the 8 titles. At the first part, something is missing. So we have to fill in something which is missing. And by fill that in, the new game design is created. At the second part, like a tool, like a game. It's a trend in the market, not just to offer a game, but you can play the game like a tool, and we see increasing number of titles like that. Okay. Give me toilet paper. Very interesting. I'm reading all the comments. So let's see what are the titles nominated. Sense of Wonder Night. There are also cash associated with the award. There are 5 technological game art, experimental game, game design, presentation, and you get $500 US. In addition to that, we have Audience Award, Semi Award, $500, and Audience Award Grand Prix, $3,000 will be given. Who is going to win it? And today, YouTube, X, Nico Nico, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok Live, Steam are also available to watch it. Also, Chinese platforms are available for this streaming, so this is available for lots of audience. Hashtag SOWN is a hashtag, so please post on SNS. Let's get lots of comments as well. Thank you. Sony Interactive Entertainment, Nintendo, Kodansha Game Creators Lab, Habinet, Indie Game Incubator, Elsa Japan, BenQ Japan are the sponsors. I'm going to explain how we are going to make the judgment. For each Best Awards, judges will give scores. However, the Audience Award Grand Prix and the Audience Award Semi Grand Prix, your comments will make a difference. So it depends on the number of comments, it will be determined. So we will select 2 out of 8, and then between those 2, based on your comments, we are going to select the Grand Prix. So your comments really matter. Yes. Sense of Wonder Night, Pico and Smile Mark are important. If you are watching us for the first time, you might wonder what they are, so I'm going to explain what they are. Before the pandemic, at real stage, we were facing the audience and you shake this Pico Pico. If you think this is Sense of Wonder, we heard lots of Pico Pico. And with Smile Hammer, you can join with Pico Pico, and you can use Smile. So 1 smile mark, 1 pico is good. And if you think great, 2 smile marks or 2 pico picos, it was perfect or excellent, 4 pico picos or 4 smile marks. So it really determines by your response. Thank you. So we are going to see how audience will respond. Let's introduce the judges.
はい、まずは NPO 法人オキュフェス高橋健二さんです。
Mr. Kenji Takahashi from NPO Okufes.
講談社クリエイターズラボ片山裕樹さんです。
Mr. Yuki Katayama from Kodansha Creators Lab.
イギインディーゲームインキュベーター知念沙織さんです。
Miss Saori Chinen from Iggy Indie Game Incubator.
ビデオゲーム忍者鶴志賀レイモンナフリアさんです。
Mr. Ramon Nafria from Video Game Ninja Tsurushiga.
立命館大学衣笠総合研究シン・ジュヒョンさんです。
Miss Juhyun Shin from Ritsumeikan University.
ソニーインタラクティブエンターテインメント吉田修平さんです。
Mr. Shuhei Yoshida from Sony Interactive Entertainment.
ゲームタップスのジュアン・グリルさんです。
Mr. Juan Grill from Game Tapas.
株式会社アウリン駒形和則さんです。
Mr. Kazunori Komagata from Aurin.
東北学院大学小林信重さんです。
Mr. Nobushige Kobayashi from Tohoku Gakuin University.
神奈川電子技術研究所北山勲さんです。
Mr. Isao Kitayama from Shindenken.
そして私新清を含めまして11名で厳正な審査を行わせていただきました。
はい。今回も審査員女性が関わってね、また新しい目線で審査
We have some female judges, so I'm sure there is a new perspective of judges. How was it? Every year, it's getting more competitive. And there's quite a difference between the titles which get points and others which don't get points. So we are all excited. There are more than 700 entries. Maybe it's not easy to make a decision. Thank you very much.
All right, let's start the presentations for the 8 works for Sense of Wonder Night 2023. Let's start with the first half. These are the nominated titles. Give Me Toilet Paper. That's a very impactful one. Let's get started. Is everyone ready? Right. Let's cut to the chase. Shin-san, are you ready? Okay, please watch carefully. This is the first work.
Let's go.
こんにちは、宮沢貴弘と言います。フリーのエンジニアをしています。
Hello, my name is Takahiro Miyazawa, and I am a freelance engineer. Let me present a game called Give Me Toilet Paper. This game is a bit unusual. It uses toilet paper to play. Thank you for having me. Hello again. This is Takahiro Miyazawa. I create games, and let me give a presentation on my game called Give Me Toilet Paper. So first, what kind of game is this? You can use toilet paper at home to play, and this is a game software for Nintendo Switch. This is the story of the game. As you can see, there's a guy in a toilet and he's in trouble because he has no toilet paper. So the player will play as the toilet paper to roll itself to try to reach to the guy. And let me play a video footage about how to play the game. As you can see, you put the toilet paper on the board and you roll the toilet paper.
遊んでいても楽しいんですが、周りの人が見ていて
It's
も
fun
す
to
ごく
play.
楽しめる作品
It's also fun to watch.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
このゲームの一番の売りは
And the most important feature is that for this game is that there's no special controller required. When you play such a strange or unique game, usually people go to the game center or you need to buy a special controller with the software. But with this game, you only need to have a toilet paper and any kind of board, and then you can start playing it anywhere. And this is already available on Nintendo Switch, so the audience of this program can also purchase it immediately. Thank you very much. And let me explain how it works. Why can we play the game just by rolling the paper, the roller paper? So basically, we need to place the Joy-Con inside the toilet paper, and that's it. Well, I think the game fans are familiar. The Joy-Con has the ability to detect a controller rotation. So I utilized this feature to roll the toilet paper together with the Joy-Con and to control the toilet paper. And then let me talk about how to make a controller. So as you can see, there's a user manual in the game as well. So you need toilet paper and tissue paper and a board. You prepare those and then you place the Joy-Con inside the toilet paper and then you fixate the controller, the Joy-Con, with the tissue paper, and it's done. Then you put it on the board, and that's your controller. Let me get into a little bit into the game itself. So this toilet room is very unique. It has a lot of traps and gimmicks. So you need to get through those traps, those gimmicks, to deliver yourself to this guy to help him. So it's a game that can be played by anyone in a casual manner. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. This is my first time seeing such a game. And then, it's something that you can play whenever you can, as soon as possible. So now let's have some comments from our judge, Takashi-san. What did you think? Actually, I played this game in the morning. It's very interesting. You would think that it is already in the market, but actually it doesn't. So for people who are watching online, the controller, if you have a controller that has a detector, it can play it. You may think that you don't need a toilet paper, but actually the gravity, the dynamic that's brought by the toilet paper is actually playing a very important role in it. Also, what I want to say is you need the weight of the toilet paper to make it work. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it's exactly Sense of Wonder. Thank you very much. So that was Give Me Toilet Paper by Takahiro Miyazawa-san. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the second title. This is the second title. Let's go.
Hello
everyone. I'm Ryuto Toyota. I'm a game designer developing a game by myself, and I'm very honored to introduce my first title at this stage. And objects don't exist, and when you blink, and then objects disappear. And what you see is real. you depend on your memories, and when your memories turn out to be true, and that leads to catharsis, and you try to draw and answer yourself. Please enjoy it. Hello everyone. I'm Ryuto Toyota, game designer who is developing an indie game by myself. You see, everything is real, and when you see something, that becomes real. This is Out of the World. I'd like to explain what the game is about. This game is a platformer puzzle action game in which objects seen by the character materialize, and when the character blinks, the seen object disappears from existence. This is only for a single play, and it will be sold at 1,000 yen, and there are 50 stages, and estimated play time is 2 to 3 hours. And there are 3 components in the system. First, to see objects. The vision is displayed in red, and after you see something, then it becomes walls and floors. When you close your eyes, you don't see objects. New objects do not materialize as floors or walls. Third one, blink or open your eyes. When you open your eyes, the existence of the materialized objects disappears. So you make objects materialize or disappear. There are elements of actions and puzzles. You can use a puzzle and using gimmicks, or you can also do a stylish way by using action and kicking the wall, for example. If you are not good at puzzles, you can use actions and you can go to the wall. If you're not good at actions, we have devices to help you to kick the wall, for example. Between stages, there's a story element to it. The main character asks yourself to get an answer, so please enjoy the story as well. In addition to that, at each stage you see a heart. Please get heart at each stage to reach the goal. Even at the same stage, you can enjoy in different ways. The thrill of relying on your own memories and the catharsis of being right. Please experience this as well. Lastly, this is the PV. How did you like it? The platformer puzzle action game, Out of the World, it becomes available on Steam tomorrow. And we are going to have a special sale for the first week. Please add my title to your wishing list. Whether you see is the fact. Please check and experience by yourself. That concludes my presentation very much. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. It will be released tomorrow. I see lots of comments that they're going to buy it. It was a timely announcement. Okay. Katayama-san, any comments? It will be released tomorrow. I'll add it to my wishing list and I'll buy it tomorrow. Platformer action. I think this is kind of a new type of game. The concept is great. What you see is real. And that idea can be expanded to different dimensions, not just to move on by materializing objects, but you close your eyes and make them disappear. So it's spread out to different dimensions. That's great. Yes. There are many interesting elements to it. Please enjoy it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Out of the World by Toyota Ryuto.
このピコピコも皆さん聞こえてるんですかね、視聴者の方ね。この私たちね。
ピコピコ do they hear the audience hear it?
喋ったらね、ピコピコ
Yes.
なんかちょっとピコピコ邪魔とかなんか書いてあったけど、
Because I read that pico picos in the way. Okay, thank you.
続いては3作品目になります。こちらです。From the United Kingdom.
Next is the third title. イギリスからの機動戦
Konnichiwa, Tokyo Game Show. Watashi wa Jonathan Bess. I'm one of the founders of Space Colony Studios and the creative director for Stories from Seoul, The Gundog. Inspired by retro mecha anime, classic science fiction movies, and 80s and 90s video games, Gundog is a visual novel adventure game that takes place in a cassette futurism setting with a focus on exploration and interaction. Everyone at Space Colony Studios is honored to be part of the Sense of Wonder Night, and we hope you enjoy learning more about Gundog in our upcoming presentation. Thank you very much for having us. We hope you get to enjoy Gundog soon.
Hi everyone, it is absolutely incredible to be here at Tokyo Game Show 2023. I'm going to walk you through our game, Stories from Seoul, The Gundog. Now, Gundog is what we like to refer to as a love letter to classic media, in particular, retro mecha anime, 70s and 80s science fiction movies, and 80s and 90s video games. Now, growing up as a kid, when I first saw mecha anime, I was absolutely blown away. I had never seen anything like it, from the visual spectacle to the complex themes, how it dealt with things like trauma, the nature of conflict. I was absolutely astounded. I had never realized that media could be this complex. As well as those shows, I really enjoy 70s and 80s science fiction movies, particularly stuff by directors like Ridley Scott or Stanley Kubrick. I've always loved the complicated and nuanced characters that, the main draw of the film for me. I love the aesthetic world building they do, how they can create somewhere that felt real, felt lived in, just through visuals alone. And then on top of that, I'm still amazed by how, despite being so old, they still were asking questions that we haven't answered today. Things like the impact of AI on humanity. And then finally, you can probably guess, I am someone who grew up playing a lot of video games. And one of my favorite things about them, especially the older games, was despite how they had such limited technology, they could create some truly incredible narrative experiences that drew me in, that I could connect with, that impacted me way more than any book, any movie, any TV show. So, Gundog is a command-based adventure game, quite an old-fashioned genre of game, so I'm going to walk you through the mechanics if you're not familiar. So first of all, you've got the move button. This lets you move around the Gundog to explore different locations. You can then investigate your environments, hunt for clues, look for important details. On top of that, you can interact with your setting, be part of the world. You can talk and engage with the various characters that are there on the ship with you. And as the game progresses, the player will assemble an inventory of items that it's at your discretion to use. And whether or not you use these, or when you use these, will impact the narrative as it progresses. So, although Gundog is quite an old-fashioned game, we have included some modern quality of life features, things like map-based fast travel, an objective log, and an in-universe glossary. So we chose to make a command-based adventure game for a very specific set of reasons: the experience, the atmosphere, the narrative connection. We wanted to craft a thoughtful experience where players who were considerate about their decisions were rewarded, where you are an active participant in your story and not a passive observer. You take on the role of the Gundog security officer, a role that comes with a lot of responsibilities, with a duty to fulfill. As the narrative progresses, tensions rise amongst the crew, conflicts break out, and it is up to you to keep them safe. Everything you do in Gundog is a decision. Where you move, who you talk to, what you use, what you do. Gundog's story is a story about the decisions that you make. So, why did we make it? One of the main reasons that we made it was that we wanted to honor our inspirations. We wanted to create something that we felt could take place within the canon of work that has inspired us. On top of that, I've wanted a game like Gundog for years, and no one has made it. So I decided I would make it for myself. And what is absolutely fantastic is how much it has resonated with people out there, how people out there have wanted to see this game as well, how I'm not just realizing my own desire, I'm realizing their desire. It is so gratifying to know that there are people out there who are looking forward to Gundog just as much as I am. And then, as I'm sure you can probably tell by now, I love the things that inspire me. They're so important to me, and all I want to do is to be able to share them with everyone. Gundog allows me to bring them all together and do this, to bring them to you. So the big question is, where is the sense of wonder? Now, Gundog is a very nostalgic game. You can instantly see its nostalgic appeal. But what's great is this sense of nostalgia. It extends beyond the people who were there the first time around to a whole new audience. Simultaneously, it is a brand new and fresh experience for that new audience, for that old audience. There is something new for everyone that we have brought forward in the game. We have done our best to create a fully realized three-dimensional cast, characters that you will engage with, characters that you will care about, characters that feel like real people. And then finally, although Gundog takes place in this fantastic setting, the kind of situations you face, the challenges, the struggles, the interactions, they are drawn from real life. They are the kind of issues that you will have faced in your day-to-day. That allows you to really emphasize with your player character, to really bring yourself deep into the story. It has been absolutely fantastic to be here. It's been a tremendous honor, and we look forward to seeing you on board the Gundog soon. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you so much. Thank you. いやーなんかこう日本の皆さんにも世界の皆さんにもちょっと馴染みのあるような
to people in
懐かしいよう
Japan
な
and the world, you know, there are a lot of works.
素晴らしいですね。
It looks
そう
like
この
something
チャレンジが素晴らしいですね
nostalgic for
早速審
people
査員よりコメン
in
トをいただき
Japan
たいと思い
and
ます知念さん
overseas.
いかがでした
We'd
か
like to have the
まずは
comments
素敵な
from the judge, Chine-san.
まずは素敵なプレゼンテーションありがとうございました。
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Not only me, I think this work is created by someone not Japanese. I'm very surprised. It has a retro game atmosphere, not only through the build-up of the character, but also through the BGM and the graphics. So everything is aligned and consistent in order to create that nostalgic feel. And without destroying the consistency, to have the consistency is actually very challenging. So you're very successful in that to create this immersive effect in this game, and I think that's where you're successful about. Thank you very much. Well, it's nice to have a female in the judge board to have different perspectives. You know, when you do the judging process, like, did you enjoy the conversations and the discussions with other judges? Yes, of course. Thank you very much. So that was stories from Seoul the Gundog. Thank you very much. Yes, please try it out. Now let's move to the next work, the fourth work in the first half from Japan, Tiny Drive.
Let's go.
Hello everyone. My name is Yamaura, CTO. I'm very honored to be a part of Sense of Wonder Night. We have only 3 members in the company. It's a small company, but we utilize technology, ideas, and sense. And Portal Graph is an interesting game. By using Portal Graph, you can watch a screen as 3D, and without a headset, you can materialize VR. And this is a desktop simulated hologram. And this tiny drive is leveraging the strength of Portal Graph, and please experience it here. I'm confident that this offering new experience. Hello everyone. My name is Yamaura from Portal Graph. We want to talk about Tiny Drive today. First of all, when you are a child, have you played a driving game where you drive a motor car on the well conveyor at the department store? If you say yes, you are a middle-aged man who are 40 years and above. This is a classical driving game and the Portal Graph combination. Please watch it.
Tiny Drive. Tiny Drive is on the desk, and this is a simulated hologram, latest version of the old classical game. You can avoid obstacles, or you can utilize the time where you don't have any enemies, and you try to catch objects as much as possible to reach the goal. I want to explain Portal Graph, which is used in Tiny Drive. This is a technology to create VR space on the projector screen, and you can watch it from any angle you like, 360 degrees, and there's a VR space. And if you squat, you can watch from a low angle. And that you can use 3 devices, different type of devices. For example, 3D projector with ultra short focus. You want to get closer to the screen. That's why we recommend 3D projector and 3D TV sets that you don't see very much. Also, you can watch 3D space with red and blue glasses and monitor. And you can use multi-screen. There's a big screen in the center, small one on the right, and a slightly small one on the left. And they're connected as one screen. Next, you can make it a box. We watched the gigantic cat in Shinjuku with 3D. This is the desktop demonstrated hologram, and you can watch this like a real figure. And here, I try to do it on the screen, but then looks like a sketchy shop in Thailand. I think there's a real store like that, but I'm not going to talk about it. And also, the actual movie can work too, at 1:1 sizing. And by squatting, you can see it from a different angle. Please experience it if you have an opportunity. Photograph player should wear a tracker. On the left-hand side, a hat-type tracker and a headphone-type tracker that's used at the venue here, and portable tracker. When you hand it over to another person, it's a lot of work, but this is easier to take it off and on. Next, Tiny Drive. Tiny Drive is the desktop demonstrated holograph and electronical machine. Like this. It's like a hologram on the desk, and you can watch her from an angle you like, and it's a very classical scene. On the desk, there are snacks, and you catch it one by one. And you can see it from the side if you like. We use the motif of electromechanical machine, and this is the demonstrated hologram, and the electronic mechanical machine are a good combination. We also thought about whack-a-mole, but I thought driving game would be the best to utilize this technology. By using hologram, we can offer 360-degree 3D image, and CG is not toned. It's always straight. There are 3 strengths: steering. I remember that we have to steer a lot when you have a car race game, so I try to copy it. Maybe my memory is not accurate. Number 2, invincible item. Around 1960, by adding invincible items, and there's an element to reverse the game. This is a game like in 1960s. This is the best item, the stick. And it took a long time to create that movie, so please watch it again. By using portal graph, we can change the configuration of the movie without changing the program. Change it to box is quite easy. So first, please experience Tiny Drive at the venue. We look forward to seeing you there. And please use portal graph in your titles. And for younger audience, probably you didn't understand that what I was saying, then sorry about that. I pause here. Thank you very much. The comments are really funny. Many people say that they want to go to Thailand to see the store. Okay, we will get a comment from a judge, Amon-san.
Hi, first of all, congratulations for the technology and the game. I am a father of 2 sons, and both of them will be super pleased of play it because they like this type of mechanical things. They are 4 and 9, so it's something that not only old people can enjoy, also young people can enjoy, and it should be something super interesting to see this technology in more games. So let's see what happens in the future. Good luck.
Hi. ありがとうございました。Thank you so much. はい、そしてもう一方、シン・ジヒョンさんにも伺ってみましょうか。
Shin Ji-hyun-san. Yes, the presentation was really fun, and the game was classical, but there are new elements to it as well. So this created new experience. Driving game, simulation, racing game. Even you are not good at it, you can still enjoy it. Thank you. Yes, it was, I see lots of stars. You never have a dull moment with this game. Tiny drive-by, portal graph, thank you very much. Okay, so we already watched the 4 titles. The presentations were quite funny, so that's something new, right? So we're looking forward to the 4 titles. So 4 titles for the next.
Well, let's look forward to what kind of games are coming. Like a tool, like a game, let's check it out. Let me start the presentation of the remaining works. The first work is It's a Wrap by Chango Studio.
Hi everyone, I'm Guillaume from Chanko
皆様こんに
Studios.
ちは。チャンコスタジオのギオームです。私たちのゲーム It's a Wrap について紹介しま
It's
す。
a challenging puzzle platformer in which you control both the director and the actor of a movie in the Hollywood of the 80s. As the director, you interact with a timeline inspired by video editing software in order to synchronize your scenes.
Alright, stick to the plan. Hide him from the big scary robot. Move these blades for cover. Johnny heads up to his little spaceship and bingo bango, scene.
You then take control of the actor in order to run and jump your way through this level.
Think outside the box. Set up a foolproof scene.
Wait, where's my elevator cue? What is wrong with you people?
It's a Wrap is available on PC and Switch, and we hope everyone will enjoy it. Thank you so much to Tokyo Game Show for selecting us to Sense of Wonder Night. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Hi everyone, it's me again, Guillaume from Chanko Studios, here to talk to you about It's a Wrap. And I would like to start by answering a question that we've often been asked, which is how did we find the idea behind It's a Wrap? And it started in August 2020 when we joined a game jam during which we had to create a game in 1 week around the theme Rewind. And the theme made us think of a puzzle game based on time manipulation, such as Braid or Superhot. And one of us being a professional video editor, we thought it was an interesting idea to make a puzzle game where we would ask the players to edit a video by moving movie clips on a timeline. It was also important for us to have a part of the gameplay that was skill-based, hence the separation of a level into 2 distinct phases, one where you think to configure the scene correctly, and one where you control the character and run and jump to navigate and reach the end of the scene and validate that your configuration is correct. And that's how It's a Wrap was born. The prototype we made during the game jam was well received, including for its innovation, which gave us the confidence a few months later to try to make a full game out of the concept. And because we were able to make the prototype in only a week, we thought it would take us only a few months, maybe a year, for the 2 of us to finish the game. But of course, we were very wrong, and it took us 2.5 years for a team that grew to up to 10 people. And now I will talk a bit about part of the process that it was to do so. First, we defined the universe that the game would take place in. We settled on Hollywood of the 80s, which was a great era for cinema, with a lot of cult movies we could make references to, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and tons of explosive action movies. Except we don't shoot one of those classic movies, but rather they are a low-budget, cheap version, which is a fun way for us to justify why everything is going wrong on set and why the player has to fix everything. Then, because the game revolved around repetition of action phases, during which the character can fail in many ways, we decided early on to make this one of our strengths by making every possible death special with a custom animation. So the character can be squished, burned, electrocuted, shot, blown away, and everything will look different and fun to watch. And this goes especially well with our art style and calls back to old slapstick cartoons. So then all that was left was to make levels. And it's very easy to make a difficult puzzle, but the challenge is to make one that has the right level of difficulty for when the players reach them, to not discourage them or rely too much on trial and error. And in order to do that, we make levels that revolve around something we call a catch, something that the players will not think of at first, but that needs to be realized in order to solve the issue and have a aha moment. So for example, this level's goal is to synchronize the different elements we can hide behind to not be exposed to the giant robots that shoots at you in the back. And it seems pretty simple. You can only control 3 elements that perfectly connect to each other in order to reach the ending on the top right of the level. And so every player will start by connecting the first wheel to the windshield in the center, then the windshield to the second wheel. But then here is the catch. They land on an elevator on the right that is needed to reach the end, but it only goes up much later than when you reach it, making the wheel that you need to stay behind and leave without you. And it suddenly looks impossible to both connect all the covers and use the elevator. But the trick is for the player to realize that you don't have to constantly move forward. And the windshield in the center does 2 back and forth, so the players can follow this windshield to stay hidden behind it, delaying the time it will reach the elevator and being able then to solve the puzzle. So of course, this is one of the early levels. So the challenge isn't extreme, but it shows the intention we have tried to apply everywhere by mixing a good understanding of how objects interact with each other and how the player can interact with them through the character controller. And then you repeat this process 28 times and it's a wrap. No matter how much attention we put in our puzzles to adjust the difficulty, though, some players will eventually get stuck. So we also need to provide a way for them to go over that, to not get locked in the progression, without giving away too much so that they can still enjoy the puzzle to some degree. And we came up with a hint system that is flexible and adds up to the game by offering interesting strategic choices to make. So our solution is to allow the players to move and lock all the clips at the position of the solution of the level on any track they want. And this is interesting because it can be used in several ways depending on what the player is looking for. For example, it can be used on a track that the player already thinks is properly set to get a confirmation that you are going the right way. Or oppositely, it can be used on a track that the player has no idea how to set up correctly to get a big boost in the progress to find the solution and build the rest of your strategy upon. So of course, there is a lot more to say about how we made It's a Wrap, but time is running out, and as we know, good timing is essential. So I would like to thank Tokyo Game Show and Sense of Wonder Night for inviting us, as well as everyone who is watching. And if you're interested in the game, it's available on PC and Switch, so you know what to do. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Guillaume. So Chamco Studios logo is also very cute. I think there are many opinions and comments about this title as well. Yoshida-san, what are your comments? Well, and my first impression was that I've never seen like a game like this, and he didn't mention it in the presentation, but actually each scene has a script, and you will see that script first, and then you will play the role of the director, and then you have to build the scene, and you have to stick to the script, and you have to think of how to put the cast. So as he said in the presentation, you have to find the correct answer, but not only that, that's not enough. So when you are incorrect, the cast is going to work very hard to do the action that he is asked to do, and he's going to suffer a lot, and it's very fun to watch. So even if you know the right way to clear the level, you may want to change the elements a little bit, and then to do the wrong answer on purpose is to see what the character will go through. So that's a really fun part about this game. It's very fun. Thank you so much for your comment. It's a game that you never get tired of by design, and I really wanted to play. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the sixth title. This is the sixth one.
Hi, I'm Tom Johnson, and I'm the developer of Ecosystem. Ecosystem is a game about life. At its heart are these evolving virtual life forms who are built out of a kind of virtual DNA that encodes everything about them from their bodies to their brains. The idea is that you take a bunch of these creatures with totally random bodies and brains, and you throw them into the water. Most of them will just sort of flail around, but a few of them might manage to actually move a little bit. And if you let those have more children than the others and wait for about 20 generations or so, you eventually evolve something that can swim. All these different species live together in a shared environment where they graze, prey on each other, and have children. So as a player, you're kind of cultivating this world of creatures that is entirely unique to you. It's really an honor to be included as part of the Sense of Wonder Night alongside so many other great games. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tom Johnson, and I'm the developer of Ecosystem. In the game, you grow and modify an ecosystem with a simulation of evolution creating the life forms that inhabit it. So I thought what I'd do today is just talk a little bit about the ideas behind the game, how it works, and what it's like to play. You start by shaping the landscape itself because the terrain can have a big effect on the plant and animal life that eventually forms. You can make just about any kind of aquatic terrain you imagine, whether that be beaches, lakes, reefs, caves, or more alien landscapes. And you can also terraform, carving out mountain ranges and valleys. At the base of the food chain are the plants. There's a full plant simulation with 50 different species of plants. You start with a few and you unlock more as you play through the game. Each type of plant has its own preferences with regard to like what kind of soil it likes, how much competition it can tolerate, how densely it grows, etc. And the way that the simulation works is that each individual plant is a little replicator. So when you put one down, it starts shooting out little seeds that are clones of itself. And then each of those plants will later shoot out seeds of their own in turn. In order to take root, they need the surrounding environment to have a certain health level. And then when they start to grow, they provide health back to the surrounding environment based on local conditions like what other plants are there, or how much light there is, or animals that happen to be around. And so there's like kind of an ecological succession here, where some plants are really hardy and can grow anywhere, but then they shift the environment in a way that might allow more complex plants to grow. But the heart of the game is the creatures. Ecosystem was inspired by research done by Carl Sims at MIT in the 90s. And each creature is built from a kind of virtual DNA that encodes everything about them, from their brains to their bodies. So bodies are just a bunch of limbs stuck together. And the DNA in this case specifies how they're stuck together, like where and what orientation, as well as like the size and dimensions of the body parts, and also what type of joint occurs at those connections, whether that be a hinge joint like an elbow or a ball and socket joint like a shoulder. So what we do is we build a procedural mesh around these limbs, we attach a custom-made head to it, and then we apply a procedural material to kind of serve as like a modifiable skin, so that down the road, things like the coloration or the scales can change. One of the things that I think is most unique about Ecosystem is that the swimming is actually physically simulated. So the creatures don't swim with like a pre-made animation. Instead, they move the same way that we do. And what I mean by that is that each creature has its own brain. And that brain is like a tiny pipeline computer that's also coded in their DNA. So at the bottom, we have sensors for things like vision or touch or limb position. And then the middle row there is sort of like the core brain function. This is like how the creature actually thinks. And then at the very top, those finally pass data up to the top row, which are muscle outputs. And so signals to the muscle outputs tell the muscles to contract or release. And so that's sort of what I mean when I say that the creatures are really swimming. They move a limb through the water by contracting a joint. The water pushes back on the limb. And if you coordinate that very well, then you can swim. And as I mentioned in the little intro, sort of, and the core idea of the whole game is that you take a bunch of these creatures with totally random brains and random bodies, and you sort of throw them into the water. And at first, they just sort of flail around, but a few of them might manage to move a little bit in the process. And if you let those have more offspring than the other, and you sort of keep repeating that process, then after several generations, you evolve a creature that can actually swim. There are tools to trace this evolution in the game, like in this family tree, where you can see what mutations every creature had and who had the most children. And in addition to learning to swim, the creatures have to actually live in the world. So they need to find plants, they need to find mates, they need to avoid predators and hunt prey. And there are three trophic levels. So there's foragers and predators and apex predators. And predation adds kind of like a new dimension that creatures can evolve on. The combat in the game is pretty tightly integrated with the rest of the design principles in the sense that it's very physics-based. So biting or striking with limbs does different types of damage, and it does different amounts of damage based on the actual physical momentum of the strike or bite. If an attack throws a target's joint out of position, this can cause the limb to become non-functional, or it can dizzy the creature or induce several other types of statuses. And creatures can also induce these statuses directly by evolving different types of venoms. And creatures can also learn to engage in more complex behaviors, like in this case, where a group of small predators use group tactics to gang up on a much larger forager. But in this case, after several generations, the foragers themselves managed to evolve some defensive spikes to help counter this strategy by the small predators. You can also make creatures yourself in a creature editor and then share those creatures with other players. The idea here is that you can kind of make the bodies, and then when they're born, those bodies will stay fixed over the generations, but their brains will continue to evolve. And so the idea is like you make the creature, but it sort of figures out how to swim and how to think on its own. And so finally, pulling everything together, Ecosystem is very much a creative game, and I think it's sort of calming to play. There are a lot of ways to guide the creatures, like you can protect species that you like and help them along, or remove species that you don't like. And you can also kind of do this on an individual level for traits. You can specify things like size, if you want to add tiny reef dwellers to your ecosystem, or giant whales to your world, or you can do that, or you can also require species to have fins or tentacles or things like that. And so sort of in the end, what you're doing is you're building up this whole world of different virtual life forms that is entirely unique to you and that nobody else will have. And that's the game. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 本当圧倒されましたし、なんかすごいこういろいろ頭。
That was very impressive, and you have to think really lots of things that we can sense, and it's overwhelming. I didn't really understand your comment. At any rate, the reaction was also a heated discussion. So what is it? Manta, our ancestors, there are so many comments. Okay, I'd like to ask the judges for comments. Joel-san?
Leaving aside the technological achievements for a second, there are two aspects I find fascinating about ecosystem. The first, what I really like about ecosystem is the fact that the result is so artistic. You mentioned in your presentation how creative it is. I feel that for centuries we have gardening has been a hobby and even a profession for people, and that has become huge elements of pride for certain cultures around the world. And I think ecosystem does that for the underwater world. Players are able to go truly crazy and create the most interesting bottoms of the ocean. So it's underwater gardening at a massive scale. The second aspect that I really love about ecosystem is that the non-linear nature of the educational concepts. We get to make decisions that affect the viability and the performance of certain species, like you mentioned in your presentation. We get to combine those different elements, and it's all done in a way where players can really choose where and how to start. This is the direction where the new theories of education are going, and it's wonderful to see them wrapped in a game, because games is showing education what we can actually do with software. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. ありがとうございます。本当ですね。もういろんな要素。
Thank you very much. There are so many elements, and there are countless elements that we can mention. So we are looking forward to the announcement at the end. Ecosystem by ecosystem.
はい、続いて7作品目になります。7作品目は From
Next,
Italy.
seventh title.
Retro Gadgets from
Italy.
Retro Gadgets. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Luca from Evil Geekers, the studio behind Retro Gadgets. First of all, we are honored to be part of Sense of Wonder 2000. Retro Gadgets comes from our love for the technology of the 90s, and we wanted to bring to the players the same feeling of joy we experienced tinkering and playing with electronics in those years. In Retro Gadgets, you can assemble, customize, code and share with all other players your own electronic gadgets. You can literally build whatever you want and bring it to life. So we can say that Retro Gadgets is a game about creating something unique and sharing it with other players. We hope you'll enjoy our game, and we are very thankful for everyone to be here. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Luca from Retro Gadgets, and I'm very honored to be on this stage. So let's talk about Retro Gadgets. Retro Gadgets is a unique kind of sandbox game about creating, soldering, coding, and customizing your own electronic gadget. And for your own electronic gadget, I mean any kind of gadget comes into your mind. You can literally build a video game, you can build a small game console, a music player, whatever you want. So the idea is that you start dragging boards, components, and things, assembling a gadget on your desk. And you can drag screens, video chip, CPUs, sliders, buttons, joystick knobs, whatever you feel you need to build your unique kind of gadget. After building the electronic part of your gadget, you can grab your airbrush and then spray your gadget, color it, and style it as you want. Also, there's a pixel editor inside the game you can use to build up your pixel art and transform your pixel art into stickers you can stick on your gadget to add some more customization to it. After all these creative part, you can start to program your gadget. You can code your gadget in Lua, bringing your idea to life. Lua is a well-known language among the game modding community, and so and there's an easy code editor inside the game. This way, you can program literally your game inside our game, and that's the fun part. Of course, after you created your gadget, you want probably to share it, so you can share to the community of other players through the Steam Workshop, so you can set online your gadget, and everyone else can download it, play with it, and maybe disassemble it and learn how you did it. So that's an interesting part of the game. You can learn from other people's gadgets. You can learn something and understand how they did their amazing gadget. So literally, we have a pretty big community with thousands of gadgets, and they already exceeded our expectations. Someone made 3D games, someone ported games to our console, someone made music synthesizers, music gadgets, drum kits, everything you can possibly think. And then, basically, you don't have to stay and use your gadget inside the game. You can use your gadget as a regular Windows application, start it up your computer startup without Steam running and without the game running underneath it. And you can basically have your Tamagotchi-like or your pager device you made and during your work or during your day on top of your desktop. And that's to bring the gadgets outside the gadget world. Last thing we are making, you have to know our secondary design goal for the game was to teach people how to program, because coding is very creative, is very fun, but usually is perceived as difficult things by non-programmers. So we're making a story mode, which we are launching here at the Tokyo Game Show. And with the story mode, you can learn step by step inside a spy story and how to make gadgets, doing very small steps and ending the story being a gadgeteer like was your granddad. So I'm very, very proud and honored to be here and represent my team. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
いやー、レトロガジェットさんなんかあれですね。やっぱレトロとこう
Retro gadget, you combine the retro and the new ones. I think we've seen a lot of works like that. And once you share something and once the community gets excited, it's going to be bigger. And let's ask the judges for comments. Komagata-san, please. I also play this game. And in the beginning, I didn't know what to do, but I was taught in a very careful, detailed manner. And when you make the hardware where you like do trial and error, you can also like do soldering, and you can also like install CPU. And then you first make the hardware first, then you do the programming in the game. And the programming is also significant. And there is also a programming by a very famous developer. So as he said in the developer about the education, now Japan is putting a lot of emphasis on the education of programming. So it's really a game that makes people want to try it out. And also the gadget can be brought it out to your desktop. That really intrigued my interest. So I really would like to purchase it and try it. Thank you very much. So that was the Retro Gadgets by Retro Gadgets. And then we have one title to go. It's very quick. Are you ready? This is the last title. Take a good look.
Let's go.
Hello everyone! We are Sven and Mathilde, and we are developing Orada together. Sven is the artist and programmer for the game, and I am the sound designer.
Yeah, so Orada is a music game, a music roguelike game, where you make songs in a very playful way.
We are very happy to be here tonight, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, we are Mathilde, and I'm Sven. And yeah, together we are making Orada, a music exploration game, where you make your own song.
Orada is all about playfully exploring music. You just place things on objects, and basically you see what happens. You can change the rhythm and the melody. You can also adjust the tone heights of every note and build your own unique little music loop. When you're happy with what you have built, you can click on the red button on the train to record the music loop and move on to the next stage.
Yeah, so now that we recorded our first loop, it's only 5 more loops till we can make a song.
So in this stage, for example, we are making a drum beat. Each of the houses that you can see on the right side are a different instrument with their unique sound. So it can be fun to experiment with different houses. Yeah, make sure to compare it with the loop you have recorded prior so that it goes well together for the song.
Yeah, so in Orada there are no real challenges or puzzles. It's more about experimenting and exploring the stages. In this stage, for example, you can also put a house on the big chimney and the sound gets replaced.
So Orada can be all kinds of curious machines, but it can also be a tiny landscape. So Orada really is a journey through a wondrous little toy world.
Yeah, so every stage in Odada focuses on a different aspect of music making. This stage, for example, focuses more on the chords.
So now that we've collected our 6 loops, we are ready to record our own cassette. Let's start the concert. Here you can arrange your song by turning on and off the loops that you have recorded. You can also change the volume by dragging the wagons up and down, so you can really create a unique arrangement with the music pieces you have collected. Just take a listen.
Yeah, the song we just recorded is now on a cassette, and we can further decorate the cassette, like changing the colors or giving it a name, and maybe even putting some stickers on it. You can also unlock new toys for the game, like new wagons for your train, or yeah, other kinds of machines which you can use in your next playthrough.
So, for example, one of the toys that we have unlocked changes the weather from daytime to nighttime. At daytime, you will hear tones, and at nighttime, they will change to percussive instruments. With the other wagon, you could change the scale of the song. So with every playthrough, you can get a completely different song. They can all totally sound different. Let us show you. A percussive song, a more modern sound, or even a bit melancholic.
Yeah, over the game, your cassette collection will grow, and you can even export your songs and share them with your friends. Yeah, thanks for listening to us and having us at this show.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to what kind of songs you will make.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. なんか可愛かったし少し癒されましたね。なんかピコピコ音が
It was healing. Oh, but the sound was so great that we couldn't really do pico pico. But it was very much pico pico. Like a tool, like a game, that was a title for the last 4. I understand how you title it. Okay, then. I'd like to ask a judge for a comment, Kobayashi-san. Yes. As you discussed, this was a tool. And I played it, and it's a very cheerful toy, and it's kind of a classical world. I don't know how to play it at the beginning, but as I go, as part of experiment, intuitively I could learn how to do it quickly. I don't make music, or I don't play music either, but I can experience it very quickly and easily. That was great. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe some will become a big fan of music. Kitayama-san? I really want to play it. On the right bottom, there's a pile of Legos. That's really exciting. So you're having fun, but you're being creative at the same time. We talked about programming, and some people don't have fun programming. But when you complete a piece of music, and you are also being creative. So probably from here, we can get hints how we can enjoy working. Okay, thank you. He's really healed. The comments was also very relaxing. Thank you. Odada by Odada, thank you very much.
So with the Odada, we finished the presentation of all the 8 titles, and I want to hear Shin-san's comments too. Yeah, like every year, like you start to wonder what is the definition of a game, and actually the boundaries have been pushed, and as a medium, a game is evolving. And again, I felt that this time. I agree with you. As the technology advances, every year there are new ideas. And it seems like this year some are going backwards, going back a little bit. Yes, like people are kind of finding fun in the retro part. So later we will announce the awards. And the Shin-san is going to talk about each division, and then now the judges are counting the votes. So we have art experimental game and the game design presentation department, and then we also have the final grand picks. We have many awards this year, and now while the votes are being counted, I want to utilize this time to talk about next year. So first, from February next year, we will announce the information for next year's application. And then there were 2 months until April. We will be looking forward to your application, and please prepare a file, a portfolio for the preliminary examination. I know it will take some time and some effort from you, but please make that file. And then I hope that we will again to see more than 700, and that will make the judges suffer. But I hope that your title can be selected as one of the finals. And after the preliminary, we will narrow it down to 80 titles. Then we will move on to further narrow it down to a final list. So I expect the judges will have a lot to do, and the time will pass very fast. And this year is going to end very soon. And we will start the new application, open the new application in February. Then you can start applying for next year's. So it seems like the votes are counted. Now, let me present the awards. Everyone is excited. So let me start with the first one, Best Technological Game Award. Shin-san, please present it. Best Technology Game Award goes to Tiny Drive. Congratulations. The trophy and the $500 will be gifted later. The next award is the Best Arts Award. It goes to Odada. Congratulations! You will receive the trophy and the $500. in a few days. The next award is Best Experimental Game Award. Give me toilet paper. Congratulations. You will receive the trophy and $500 in a few days. The next one, Best Game Design Award. It goes to It's a Wrap. Congratulations. You will receive the trophy and $500 in a few days. Let's move on. Best Presentation Award. Stories from Seoul, the Gun Dog. Congratulations. You will receive the trophy and $500 in a few days. Well, now it's time for the last award, the Audience Award, the Grand Prix. And we will choose 2 titles that received the most smile comments during the presentations. And let me announce those 2 titles. The first one is Give Me Toilet Paper. Congratulations. The second title is Tiny Drive. Both are from Japan. Alright, the finalists, please come up to the stage. And then I will call the title in order. And then if you please send smile comments to the work that you prefer more or the one you feel more sense of wonder. If you think it's good, 1 pico or 1 smile mark. If you think it's great, pico or smile mark times 2. If you think it's excellent, then 4 pico and a lot of smile marks. So this is the most exciting moment. And this award ceremony is essential. It's based on your voting. And please only vote 1 title, and we will look at the amount of comments each title gets. So we will give you like 1.5 minutes. Please think and select the title you want to vote for. So the first one, Give Me Toilet Give Me Toilet Paper. Start voting. It's very quiet at the venue. You cannot be quiet. There's some time lag as well. Shin-san, are you watching closely? Are you listening closely? There's a lot of pico. Okay, we will finish the voting. Then let's move on to the next title, Tiny Drive. If you think a Tiny Drive deserves sense of wonder, then please give us pico or smile marks. Shin-san, are you okay? It's quite difficult. This one is hard. Yeah, but I think we know who's the winner. So some people are swinging with the 2 hammers. Okay, with that we will close the voting. Thank you very much for voting. So we finished the last voting. Shin-san, please make a decision. Have a make up your mind. You made up your mind? All right. The final Grand Prix. Who's the winner? We are going to announce. So Audience Award Grand Prix will be announced. It goes to Tiny Drive. Congratulations. First, to the Audience Award Semi Grand Prix winner, the trophy and the $500 will be presented. The presenter is Jun Hyun Shin from Ritsumeikan University. Please, congratulations. May I have your comments? Well, it's just a toilet paper and then it became this. Very touched. Thank you very much. What do you want to do in the future? Well, I cannot say it for sure now, but thank you very much. Again, congratulations. All right, next, let us present the trophy and $3,000 to the winner of the Audience Award Grand Prix. It will be presented by Sony Interactive Entertainment, Shuhei Yoshida. Congratulations. Congratulations for winning the Audience Award Grand Prix. How do you feel now? Well, I'm really glad that I pushed hard on my title and I'm really impressed. I'm really honored. And then we can play your game at the booth tomorrow? Yes, please come to the booth. I will assure you that you will enjoy it. Thank you so much. Congratulations, all the winners. So, Shin-san, this is the 16th iteration of the Sense of Wonder Night. There were many exciting works. Well, every year I look forward to the works. And as media and games are evolving. And today we were able to see so many spectacular titles. And I think there's a lot of learning from it too. Every year, I think that all the titles are magnificent, that they all deserve the Grand Prix. So we would like to have a lot of applications next year as well. And so with that, we are here at the Makuhari Messe. And thank you very much for all the finalists, the judges, and the audience for staying with us today. So the finalists, the 8 titles of a song, can be seen at the indie corner of indie game area as a selected indie AD, and as you can see that a lot of people gathered here. The community of indie is expanding. Can you spot me in this picture? No, I cannot. Oh, actually, I found you. That's great. But you're not. You're not in there, right? Yes, I'm there. It would take some time to spot you. So everyone, you can take a screenshot and find Shin-san from this picture. So you can interact with the indie stakeholders if you go to the corner, and you can also try the games. So please do make sure to try not only those 8 titles, but there are like 80 titles in total that you can try out in the Tokyo Game Show. So again, thank you very much for staying with us till the end. Please enjoy at the venue after tomorrow. The sponsor is Sony Interactive Entertainment, HappyNet Indie Game Incubator, BenQ Japan, Elsa Japan.